Oh, yeah, party people, what's going on? Bobo here with BrassReel Brothers. Thanks for joining for another episode of BrassReel Tonight. Man, we had a crazy morning, at least I did. And it happened a little late last night, but we got the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, which we've been waiting for. It was leaked. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the leak stuff. I waited to the regular trailer because that's just how I like to do it. So we're going to talk about that today. Today, the entire episode is dedicated to Spider-Man No Way Home trailer. We're going to do a full breakdown. And in fact, joining me, I got my buddy Ez Maniac here with me. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, well, you know, and it's kind of funny. We did that Spider-Man discussion for the Sam Raimi trilogy last night. And it's just like this came out. It's perfect timing how the world lines up.
Perfect
like that,
time.
right?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Wake up the next morning and go, boom, there's a trailer.
You know what it's telling me? That we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right thing with our lives. But before we get into the Spider-Man, we're going to break it down. Before we get into all that, I do have to mention one little thing that's going on in the entertainment world. And this is just too legend to not talk about. But we just lost the drummer for Rolling Stones. Charlie Watts has died at age 80. And I actually haven't even dived into why he died and what was the cause of it. But he died Tuesday morning and said, according to the spokesperson, there still is no cause to death right now. So he was just found that morning dead. So that's unfortunate. And look, the Rolling Stones, Charlie Watts, the Rolling Stones are up there with the Beatles in the sense of where their place is in the industry. You know, you got like a club, you got a group of them. You got like the Beatles, you got the Rolling Stones, you got like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, and you got some other guys that are kind of in there as well. But there's just like a real handful of a club that sort of really inspired the rest of rock and roll. And still, as we know it today, you know, like these were sort of the pioneers of the rock that we have grown to love. And Charlie Watts was one of those guys. So I just wanted to say, RIP, Charlie. That sucks, man. I mean, I can't say that most of us are blown away at this point. They just started their most recent tour. And I mean, at this point, I thought that one of them would have already died already. I'm not trying to be morbid. It's just like they've been going forever, man, and rocking hard. So, you know, again, not being morbid, RIP, and definitely wish all my condolences to everybody and your family and all that stuff. But anyways, just wanted to acknowledge it. Charlie Watts, you're one of the pioneers, buddy. Well, with that being said, what do you say we talk about some Spider-Man?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh man. So right away this morning, I'm sitting here and I'm blown away when I wake up and I see the picture. And you know what, you can tell when you see a picture and it's a fake one, and you can tell when you see it's a real one. And I was like, all right, this feels like it's a real one for some reason. And sure enough, the thumbnail was real and we got the trailer, man. Before we dig it and break it down, what was your first thoughts?
Okay, my first thoughts, I was thinking, am I going to see Tobey Maguire in this? Is he going to show up? Am I going to see Green Goblin? And it was like excitement, like a little kid, because it took me straight back to 2002 when the original Sam Raimi, and I'm excited to see the villains coming back and what they've done with them. I mean, how did you feel?
Oh man, I was same as you. It gave me the excitement. Now look, I got excited about the Eternals trailer, but that was for a different reason. There's excitement for a comic book property you love, and then there's excitement for a Spider-Man movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's tried and tested, isn't it, the Spider-Man? We know that it works. Eternals might not work, but we know that there's love there already for the Spider-Man original trilogy. So bringing that into this world with Tom Holland, it's like, how are they going to do this? Like, it's exciting.
Hey, real quick, man, would you mind trying to turn your mic or your volume maybe down on your computer a little bit? It's just a little louder than it has been.
All right, yep.
I don't know if that has anything to do with something. I just want to make sure it's a good stream. You know what I mean?
Yep. Is that good?
Not trying to call you out or anything. Keep talking.
Is that good?
Yeah, actually, that's way better. It's like this, like piercing, like sharpness, but yeah, no, that's way better. Anyways, so yes, you're right. The Spider-Man is tried and true. I think everybody likes Spider-Man. I don't think that there's anybody that doesn't really like Spider-Man. That's why he had the second highest grossing film next to Endgame in the MCU.
Yeah, yeah. It was a really good trailer, and they're not just focusing on the villains from the past. You know, they are showing Tom Holland and Mary Jane and all that. So you know, you are getting some of the modern stuff, but it's the ending part for me where I was just blown away. It was just, I can't wait for this. I can't believe it's getting released in December.
I mean, honestly, I've been digging on this all morning, dude. This is all I've been doing. I mean, I've got theories now to talk about. I've got everything, and I haven't felt this way about a trailer in a long time. I mean, it honestly, and I'm a super nerd, but this feels a little Christmas morning-ish to me. You know, this is the feeling I've been wanting to feel all summer, and
Yeah.
I'm just now feeling it.
Yeah. Have you seen some of the theories going around? I mean,
Oh, dude, I've got all of it, and honestly, the way I've got it set up is to talk about the theories as we break down and go through the trailer bit by bit. So, I mean, when I say I've got it broken down, I mean, I've got it set up straight to scene one when they're just sitting there on top of the building. Now, first off, they're doing a good job, I feel like, by trying to establish that heart, that love. They've obviously, their relationship's continuing. They're joking. She's talking about like sexy Spider-Man powers and stuff. I mean, right away, I'm loving the way that's feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
yeah, you can tell they're happy.
Oh,
together anyway, at least.
Completely. I mean, they're just sitting there right now. And then the way that she looks at him right here, I mean, she turns and just gives him this smile. It's just like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? That's awesome. So I'm loving they're touching into that. Like even there, I've got a picture of her just smiling, like just right at him. He's smiling. And even though you got to think about this is after he's been outed. So they're already in their turmoil, but it's showing that they can still get in their own little bubble and have their fun and be in their own little heartfelt space. And so I like that. They're focusing on their love and their relationship. You know what I'm saying?
He makes a comment and he says something like, can't we just stay here? Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. And
he
that's,
doesn't want to face the world.
That's depicting that, you know, he's already just like, damn. And even then, right away, we got this right here. You know, him just swinging. You can see him and Mary Jane swinging right there. And that's actually at the end of the movie of part 2, if you remember correctly.
No, I didn't know that. I forgot about that.
So right there, that's at the end of part 2 when they're swinging and they're not really seeing it on there, but you're hearing J. Jonah talking and he's like taking her for that last swing of the beat. And she's like, oh God. And you kind of just see that as he's talking and they're like, what the hell? And he stops and he looks it up there and they show that. I'm pretty sure that's from it. If it's not, there's another picture that's just like it.
Yeah.
But definitely with this right here, that being Public Enemy number. Actually, let me go back on that. When it's showing them right here, that's like from the last movie. But then that Public Enemy number 1, that's from this movie, I think.
So they've gelled it together. Yeah,
just try to connect it well, which I think is good. I think that's a nice little way to get you in there. And so, have you heard any theories about why Peter's in jail?
No, I haven't. I was wondering myself because at the end of the day, he's an Avenger and they've all saved the world. You'd think that they would owe him a little bit of respect, and I don't understand. I mean, they're accusing him of killing Mysterio. Is that right? Is that what we're getting from the trailer? That's
what he's saying in the trailer. At least that's what it looks like. And then when he's trying to look up and he's talking to him, he's like, "Look, I'm telling you, he did it. It was the drones." And they're like, "You're the one that controlled the drones." Well, I think in the theories I've been reading online, and some people are saying that they've got, you know, leaked scripts and stuff like that, that he turns himself in, that he actually because he wants to get it cleared and everything like that. So, in my opinion, when we're seeing like this of them like walking, of him walking right there, and you see that like devil in disguise background right there and stuff like that. In my opinion, I feel like that's already after the jail thing, or maybe that's on the way to the jail thing. But I don't feel like that he is ever arrested. At least I'm not thinking that. I think that he like turns himself in and maybe he just gets out of it because they talk it out or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just
it's not just him though, is it? They're interrogating his friends.
They're interrogating Ned.
Yeah.
They're interrogating Aunt May. You know? And obviously it's bleeding over into him and Zendaya's relationship. I'm called her real name. Him and Mary Jane's relationship. And this is something else too. You see that person behind her with the blonde hair?
Yeah, who's that?
That's actually Flash.
Is it?
That's Flash Thompson. So you remember him from the other two movies. He was the dark skinned guy.
Yeah.
And he had the dark hair. Well, this is him with blonde hair, apparently. And in the comic books, he's got blonde hair.
Right.
He's more of like that blonde haired jock. I don't know if they're trying to do something with turning him to a character of some sort that's more important. Because if you remember at the end of Far From Home, everybody comes back from overseas and everybody's all excited. They got their family there and everybody's just, they're okay. The only one that's a little upset is Flash because his parents aren't there. It's just a limo driver holding his name. He's just like, man, nobody's here for me. And I feel like that they were alluding to something there. What about you?
To be honest, I don't remember that scene. I remember him. Is he in the first one? Does he take his car? Is that right? His dad's car. And he drives it, crashes it, the Audi.
I think that's in the first one.
Yeah.
In the second one, they're almost immediately going overseas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But when they show back up at the very end of the second one, Flash is showing up there and he's looking around and he's looking all around everywhere. And again, he's watching MJ all happy. He's watching Peter all happy. He's watching all of his other friends. Ned's happy to be home. Him and that girl that were all hooking up are now broken up, but they're all good friends and everything. But you see Flash and he's just all bummed out looking down, just like nobody's here except for his limo driver.
Yeah. In a way, he reminds me of a little bit like Harry, as in like, you know, he's got all the money and everything, but there's no love there.
So here's one of my theories that they might be setting up. I don't think they've gotten there yet, but I think that they're at this point in Marvel's career or the MCU's career, they're making sure they're laying groundwork for future stuff always. You know what I mean? They're always planting in things here so they can build on it later. Yeah. I'm wondering if at some point Flash doesn't become the Hobgoblin.
Really?
The reason I'm saying that is because in the comics, and I know you're like, don't fucking say the comics again, but in the comics, and you know, this is what they pull from, that Hobgoblin is actually like a fashion designer and who sort of like is at his wit's end with like not being accepted anymore. He's been shunned from the fashion world and he hadn't just, his career went a way that he wasn't expecting and it went really down south. You know what I mean? And so he somehow or another hijacks the Goblin tech off of Harry, because Harry does become the Green Goblin after Norman in the comics. And so the Hobgoblin is actually made by somebody else. That's the orange and blue one. You remember?
Yeah.
I'm just thinking maybe they're going to make like their version of Hobgoblin. Maybe will be Flash. He's a spoiled kid. Maybe he starts becoming a little cynical and jealous of other people, and maybe a little hatred stems.
Yeah.
Somehow or another, he becomes the Hobgoblin.
Yeah. Like I said, similar to Harry. Similar to Harry is in like, he's got everything but the love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I mean, they would have to do Green Goblin and Hobgoblin first. I mean, they'd have to do Green Goblin, Norman, and Harry's story first. I guess they could skip them or make those even a hybrid story, kind of like they were trying to do in Amazing Spider-Man 2. They just kind of over Norman and went straight to Harry.
Yeah, it was a bit disjointed. It didn't really work, but we do see a version of Goblin in this trailer, or something.
We do, but and we'll get to that in a second. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be that guy that's like whoa, but I wanted to make sure I don't forget things. I kind of got a little bit of a itinerary lined out. But obviously, like you said, with Ned being in the prison, not in the prison, but being interrogated, and so with Aunt May and Peter, it's obviously affecting everybody, and it's affecting Mary Jane. And there's this one scene of them right here where what do you think's going on here? I mean, they're obviously running from something. The cops are surrounding them, or do you think this is when they get brought in?
I believe that he is classed as some sort of terrorist, and they want to bring him. They want to bring him in for something, but I don't know how that's going to work. Like I said before, he's just saved the world only a few years ago with the rest of the Avengers. So they're accusing him of something for them to have police helicopters, for them to have to be that high and risk their lives and risk Mary Jane's life, because unless she's a suspect too, I can't figure out what's going on here. This is the beauty of this trailer. You don't really understand anything.
I agree, man. I agree. It's definitely you don't really know what's going on. And to me, the beauty or the perfect thing that a good trailer does is to build your excitement about something that's you're already excited about. So we were already excited about No Way Home, but now we're even more excited. So it did its job there, but it didn't really leak any information that we didn't already know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There was no like, oh, what is that? Like even then, I found myself trying to rewatch it, trying to find little things that would give me a clue, and they didn't really put it in there. I mean, I've watched it probably about 10 times now. I know that sounds crazy, but I was just looking for stuff to find. And there's a couple things that make you think things.
Yeah.
But for the most part, they didn't do like, oh, well, like Don't Breathe 2, not trying to dog on it again, but everything in the movie was in the trailer. It really was.
Yeah, and that can work sometimes, but in a movie like this, you want to be surprised. You want, maximum entertainment for your dollar, and I think they've done this with this trailer because
big time.
You're none the wiser of any of it. You're just like, what is this? Like, how is this going to work? And I don't want to bring up anything else in the trailer if you've got like a schedule, but
please go on with that.
Yeah, I think with Doctor Strange, that seeing him and he's got all the colors on, but it's like a winter coat.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, he's definitely.
Why is he like that? Do you think? Why is it ice in there?
No, that's the only thing I can think of is maybe that him and his crew, the team of the Wizards, are up to some stuff, and because they're always doing their own thing, and maybe something happened, an accidental thing happened. Because if you notice at the very beginning of it, and I'll try to get it there on the trailer at some point here, but there's somebody cleaning up. So like right here, I'm going to put this on. So somebody's, hang on. Oh, I got to take this off. So let me go back here a little bit. So right when he walks in, if you look, somebody's cleaning up. See on the left?
Shoveling snow.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering if an accident happened while they were doing some work, like a spell, and it's like, oh shit, all this snow came through while we were closing it up or something. Who knows?
Yeah, because in his world, he's doing crazy stuff all the time,
and it just adds personality to it. And there you go, right there. I could have just pulled up this picture. There's that person on the left there, and I like the whole idea of them being in New York, because like now Thor's visited Doctor Strange's house. Now Peter's visiting Doctor Strange's house. Iron Man and Hulk and all them were at Doctor Strange's house at one point. It's like it's all coming into. It's starting to feel more like the comic books, because in the comic books they all are in Manhattan pretty much.
I do love Doctor Strange. I love him being introduced into other movies as well. Like you said with Thor. See, I watched Thor Ragnarok today, and I just love his character of Doctor Strange more so than his own solo film. Like I love him. At the first film, I did enjoy it, but I think seeing him in this trailer, he's going to bring something to the game.
Well, I think what people didn't understand about the first movie, and why, like, you needed the first movie so you can know who he was and care about him in Infinity War and Endgame and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But without those movies, but in his first movie, and without you seeing what he can really do with the Avengers and why he is so important to the Avengers, like you didn't really see how badass he could be until he was with the Avengers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So it's like when you're watching that first movie, you're not really understanding how he can apply this to these guys. But once you see him with them, you're realizing that like he's actually almost the most powerful one in a weird way. So
yeah, there's something captivating about him as well. Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. Like he plays the character so well.
He does.
Like, yeah, you just want to see more of him, and you feel safe with him.
And he does a decent job at an American accent too. There's an occasion that I'll hear something, but he does a decent job at it. But what I really like here is that he's willing to talk to Peter, and for some reason, and let me ask you this: when he's looking out at, I can't remember the other guy's name, but his partner, where he's about to open the portal, and he's just like, "Hey, don't do that spell. Don't cast that spell." And he's like, "I won't." Like, is he just automatically not listening to his best friend for decades now and siding with Peter because he's seen what Peter can do and knows what Peter's capable of? I mean, is that the only reason, or does he want to get his hands dirty?
I believe that he looks at Peter and Peter's desperate for the world to forget who Spider-Man is. And I believe that he sees him as a young child, or a young man, and he wants to help him. That's what I'm getting from the trailer.
No,
right?
yeah, and I'm genuinely asking. Yeah, I
But
think
a
you're
lot of
probably
other
right.
a lot of the theories I've been seeing is that that's a variant of Doctor Strange. It's not and I'm thinking, is it? What would they do that?
That was going to be my next thing to talk about. Is that a variant right there,
I don't believe it.
Or is it not even Doctor Strange? Is it Mysterio?
Nowhere.
So that's some of the other theories that are going around. And the reason I say that is because it's pretty clear now that they're setting up the Sinister Six, because we've got Dr. Octopus, we've got Goblin, and this is not stuff that I'm trying to get advanced on. Everybody knows this about the movie. We got Dr. Octopus, we've got Goblin, we've got Electro, and now, and we'll get to this almost in just a minute, but now they're saying that Sandman and the Lizard are in this movie. And if you add Mysterio, which could be still alive, because that's what he does, he's an illusion guy.
Yeah,
that would be 6. Now here's the deal. Venom is also a part of the Sinister Six at some point, but the Sinister Six is slightly like the Avengers. It switches a member occasionally here and there. It switches out a member occasionally here and there. But
is it no more than 6? Like, does it have
it's only usually 6 at a time, but there has been obviously 8, 9, 10 of them trying to jump in on a fight against Spider-Man before. So they don't have to just do that. They could form the Sinister Six in this and then lead it up to something bigger. But here's the other thing. Vulture. We still got Vulture as a villain, Michael Keaton, who is in the Morbius trailer. And Vulture is part of the Sinister Six. Did you not see the Morbius trailer where he's at the end of that, Michael Keaton?
No, I thought he died. I thought Peter, tried to save him, and
no, he didn't die in Spider-Man. He got put to jail.
Well, there you go.
No, but he's at the very end of the Morbius trailer. It's been out for a while too. He literally, Morbius is doing something, and you see Vulture by this like ambulance or police siren or something, but he's got the prison clothes that he had on at the end of Homecoming. And he says something to him. He's like, da, da, da. I mean, it's clearly Adrian Toomes. It's Michael Keaton's character. So I'm just wondering what they're going to do. But, there's so much speculation.
There's only one character I don't want to be in the Sinister Six, and that's Paul Giamatti as the Rhino.
The Rhino? Yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that.
Good.
I think that he is a great actor, and he even acted good in that, but it was don't put somebody like that in the movie just to get it just for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, let's find out why he's mad. Let's find out all these things. But if you just have him in there, because again, Paul Giamatti can chew up the screen with his acting. I'm not going to dog on him. He's a great actor.
Yeah, I love the guy, but I don't want to see him back as Rhino.
No, me either. So with Doctor Strange involved now at this point, and we know that Peter has gone to him and to ask for his help. And we know that these spells are happening. They Doctor Strange, and this is another thing I like. This is something you haven't seen, I think, in the Doctor Strange universe. Him pouring something into a bowl like that. It's all like, I just like that. To me, that adds more to the flair of Doctor Strange. I just think it's cool.
Yeah, is it in a way? It's like witchcraft. Like it, he's adding extra parts to it rather than just saying words. I think that's good.
Me too, because it almost takes it to a higher level. You know what I mean? And remember, in Endgame, he had that wrapped around his neck the whole time. His stone, he had it locked up in there. So like, that's certain things like that I think are pretty cool, just to think that he's always got other things at play, not just a guy that's like magic, because that's kind of what Wanda is. But she's in Doctor Strange too.
Those two combined together, I can't even imagine what's going to go on.
Yeah, I mean, and if they do it right to their characters, it should be great, man, because they are super powerful. So we got somebody tuning in, the MCU intro king. Will Black Widow be in the movie? I don't think so. I don't think the Black Widow is going to be in there. Maybe, who knows? But I would bet money. I'm going 99.9 point something else % she's not in that movie.
She'll be getting paid if she is.
Oh man, I wish I had a rim shot. Actually, I think I got something over here that's sort of like that. Yeah, the so yeah, I don't think that she's in there. I think she's definitely donezo. And there's some people that even Marvel have said that yes, this is the MCU fake dead universe, but there's certain people that are dead, and Black Widow is one of them. She's gone. But with the spells happening, the reason that I've heard in the theories of why it's only Spider-Man villains coming back from other multiverses and not like a ton of other things at this point. Obviously, that might change later on down the road or even in the movie. But what we're seeing, it's because Peter's tampering with the spell, and he even says he's like, stop tampering with the spell. You know?
Yeah,
and he's
if that spell is so important, though, wouldn't you say, Peter, look, you're gonna have to leave the room because you're interfering?
Okay, so and again, at first I thought that, but then I started watching it more, and I'm sure it's going to be a way more elaborate scene that we get to see in the movie, obviously. Yeah. But from what I understand, it looks like, and what I'm thinking is that he's actually maybe changing the spell a little bit and allowing some of these things to happen. Right. But it looks like he's getting towards the end of the spell, and Peter keeps on adding more to it, and he's like, "Stop tampering with it!" Like, and then Peter's angst and all that, because he is still a teenager, gets the best of him. And then that's when we get to this where it almost blows, and then it comes back down to this solid point right here. Yeah. And again, I think they think they're okay at that point, and then obviously things aren't. Only reason I'm bringing that up is two things. Is I think that's the reason it's all Spider-Man villains that are coming into it, and not other villains. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's like Peter's world.
It's directly connected to him because he's within that circle. He's standing inside of the circle with him. So I just think that that's probably what they're trying to get you to believe and go for.
So now, this is Doctor Strange. It's his fault that all this is happening?
I don't think so. Because even there's even a moment where he's talking to Peter at one point. And he's like, "It's your fault for trying to be two people at one time." You know what I'm saying? So
I don't understand. I mean, it was like a clue that doesn't lead you anywhere. Like, you need to know more. Like, it's making me want to see this film today.
Beautiful. Yes. Yeah, they did. They're doing such a great job with it, man. I think that's awesome. And one of the other theories, though, now that we've talked about the Sinister Six possibly being a part of it, is that this down here, this little area that he goes to, the little dungeon basement area, that's according to a lot of theories online, that there's some areas in there that are sort of cage prison-like, and like, wizard cages, you know what I'm saying? Not like just a steel cage, that are holding all the villains and keeping them there until they can go back, or until he can send them back to their proper realities. And that's just what I've heard online. That is what Doctor Strange is trying to do. And the reason that they're all popped into this reality and what they're going for, the plot they're going to try to go for, is that this is them picking up as they died the villains. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like when they died in their previous movies, this is them picking up to be like, oh, we're here, we're alive. And so they even plot together because they realize they have a common thread that, hey, the Spider-Man's in our other universes killed us. And so their idea is to try not to go back so they can stay alive, because if they go back, they're dead.
Right. Okay. I mean, that is one theory. I've got a feeling in 4 months' time, we're probably going to look back on this video and go like, that was wrong, that was wrong, that was wrong. But that's good.
I hope so. That's how it was about Wanda. I wasn't right. The only thing I've been really right about at all in the MCU, I was right about Agatha Harkness, but everybody kind of knew that. Her name was Agnes. You know, I mean, that was pretty easy to put together. But as far as everything else, I didn't nail anything except for Kang. You know what I mean? Yeah. So they're definitely doing a good job at making you question. And I know they're misdirecting us. I know they are. They wouldn't just give stuff away.
Yeah, no, I don't think they would either, because people, like, as soon as they heard that certain cast members were coming back, they knew they were onto something big. We can't mess this up. Like, so I'm hoping, dear God, that they do this well. Sorry, my Alexa just went off.
Oh, no worries. No worries at all, man. No, I'm assuming they're going to do it well. I don't see them not doing it well. I think they're too excited about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't play with Doctor Strange and Spider-Man in a specific story, having Spider-Man and Doctor Strange in their own movie, because this is it. This is their team up movie. You don't have that unless you got something really awesome planned. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, is Tom Holland, does he have a contract for more solo movies? Or?
Well, he does, but he has a contract with Disney, or excuse me, with Sony for a lot of movies. Like, right, Sony is who he technically works for. He just gets lent over to Disney.
Right.
Now, Disney is where he's developed his true relationships because all the movies have been Sony Disney movies. You know what I'm saying? He's yet to do just a Sony film. Like Venom is just a Sony movie. Morbius is just a Sony movie. And they said it is going to happen with Tom Holland. Like his contract is huge. But from what Disney said they want to do and Marvel said they want to do is they want to do 3 trilogies. So with Spider-Man. And if they do 3 trilogies, they'll have the opportunity to tell all these stories we wanted to see, restart it over if that's possibly what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? Who knows? But we will, if they do that, we will get all the Spider-Man villains we want.
Yeah.
And the new versions of them, not the rehash. I think these villains are coming into this to be for this event. I don't think they're sticking around. I think they will get something after.
So, yeah, that's what I thought as well. I thought it's more of like cameos.
Exactly. And you know, with the multiverse thing happening, with everything happening like this, is this something that you think that is going to change Peter back to no one knowing, or do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, I believe that.
You think MJ and nobody's going to know?
I think going forward for him and for his own sanity, because he's so desperate for it, I think by the end of the movie, well, I don't know, because I think it should end on a cliffhanger, like you were saying earlier. Like you want it to lead you to Doctor Strange 2. So
is it going to connect?
End of it all,
is it going to have anything to do with this?
Could Loki? Well be. Yeah, that opens up the multiverse.
Well, I'm just wondering if the Loki thing comes into play in Doctor Strange 2. And right now, like Loki's multiverse thing is happening, and that's in another part of the galaxy. You know what I'm saying? That's not in Earth area, in Earth orbit. But with Doctor Strange being on Earth doing this and Loki's shit happening, we've already heard that Loki is in Doctor Strange 2. So I'm wondering, So I'm wondering if his multiverse shit going on, and then Doctor Strange's multiverse shit going on, all of a sudden, boom! Then we have a huge multiverse event in the.
Well, isn't Loki stuff happening, say 8 or 9 years ago, straight after New York? Because that's a different, younger version of Loki.
Yeah, but I mean, when you're messing with the time, you know, when you're messing with the TVA, I mean, all it just starts going awry. You can just play with whatever you want. Which, by the way, let me get off on a side shoot real quick. You know, you probably are aware of this, but this isn't the first time that. Obviously, it's not the first time the comics have ever dealt with multiverse stuff because they've done it for years now. But even in the entertainment world, the video games have been doing multiverse Spider-Man stuff for years. Have you ever played any of these games back in the day, like Shattered Dimensions or Edge of Time?
I did, but did I ever finish them? No. The only Spider-Man games I played was Spider-Man 2 and then the original one on the PlayStation 1. So
those are both good games in their own right, for sure. Spider-Man 2 was great.
Yeah.
They definitely go ahead.
Web of Shadows game, I remember that.
Web of Shadows was after Spider-Man 2 and before Edge of Time and Shattered Dimensions. Web of Shadows was still pretty good. It was more comic book art looking. It wasn't trying to look like a movie or something, but it was pretty fun. But they've definitely messed around with the alternate Spider-Mans in the past. It's always been something they wanted to play around with. They're even kind of doing it in the games a little bit. They've already had the End of the Spider-Verse movie. So, I mean, it was inevitable that they were going to make that happen in this.
Do you believe that Miles will come into this?
Not right now.
Right.
I don't think he'll come into this. I think he might come in later on to some bigger multiverse stuff. I don't think he's going to be in this movie. That's too much, and I think that Sony knows what they have with Miles, and they're going to market the hell out of him. And I'm not sure that Miles movies are going to be connected to the MCU so much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think Sony knows what they have with that because he's a hot character, man. I mean,
he's hot property for them.
He's a good character and he's a hot character. So, I mean, those two combined, that works.
Yeah.
But speaking of good characters, so I think this is clear. This is Electro, right?
Yep. You can see just a little jolt of electricity is up there.
Now, is that sand everywhere?
I thought was Sandman in this. Please say it's not going to be the same guy, is it?
I don't know. I have no clue whatsoever. I've tried to look it up online and figure out, but I mean, it's definitely, it's saying that this is Sandman. And then look at this.
Yeah.
That looks like Electro and Sandman like teaming up, or maybe Some theories are that Thomas Hayden Church's character from Spider-Man 3 is going to be in this, and Sandman is going to be helping Spider-Man because he ended up being kind of a good guy at the end of part 3. Remember?
Yeah, good point. He does. Yeah, like if it gives him and.
So what if that like wall of sand is trying to protect him right there, protect Spider-Man? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, is that Spider-Man in the bottom corner?
That's Spider-Man in the bottom right, and he's in now. That's the other thing that we got to talk about. There's so much, dude. He's in another suit. Spider-Man is. Now we get to see him in the trailer right here in this suit. Now, some people have said online that this was Peter like in a hurry at school and he put his suit on inside out.
Right.
Now, people have said that.
It could be. I mean, would it fit? Is there not like wire connectors and stuff inside it? Or
I mean, it's Stark material. Who knows? You know, it's like his advanced suit. Now, these toys have come out.
Right.
So I don't know what to think. Is Doctor Strange giving him a suit? Is it a inside out suit? I don't know. We've gotten a picture of the suit right here that actually looks all right, but I can't tell if that's a makeshift, if somebody did that on Photoshop or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be, couldn't it?
We got a shot of him running right here as well. I mean, and look, there's a belt. You know, I mean, it's black. It looks like black boots. I mean, I don't know how the entire suit would just fit perfect inside out like that, but it could be. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the boots, you can't turn boots inside out. Can you?
No, but I mean, again, what do we even know what any of that shit's really made out of?
I don't know. Maybe Happy made it for him. I don't know.
Well, at this point, Stark's like his technology is sort of living on its own now. That's Stark's whole thing. So,
right, okay.
Who knows?
I assume it's a tactical suit.
Well, I was wondering if it was like a Doctor Strange deal because, like I said, this little toy thing shows that he's got like he's doing like Doctor Strange spells right there. And this is a toy that was released a while back, like an image of real merchandise coming out. So like that's obviously he's got some sort of amulet or gauntlet on his hand that
he does have red in his gloves. Like it seems a bit bizarre why you would have the red fingertips.
Yeah. So is it inside out? You know, that's what you were saying. So I was just curious what you thought about that because I have no idea. Nobody knows. It's all theories online at this point. But of course, I'm just looking at these pictures. You can't really tell this from the picture, but that's the buildings all changing like they did in Doctor Strange. And then
they're all folding in on each other. Yeah, that's it.
You can totally see it there. And then right here, it's like opening up into something different where Strange is chasing him, which I think that looks pretty cool. You know,
is he chasing him to save him? Or is he a villain? Like you get the feeling. Well, the fan theories are that is the variant, and that shot of him there, like, is that
he's
him
wearing all black?
Yeah, or a bad guy.
Yeah, so I'm not sure. And even right now, right here, you can see it on this part here. He's fighting him, and he's like changing the trains up and everything, and it's like he's fighting him right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then there you see the regular suit. The regular suit, the in-game, the Infinity War suit, you know, the armor Spider-Man, which I love that suit.
I feel like this one, I mean, I don't know who directs this one. Is it the same guy who's done any of the others?
John Watts. Yeah, he did all three.
I think he'll probably turn down the comedy because it felt like Far From Home was trying to relieve some of the stress from Endgame.
I'm not sure that the comedy will be gone. And I think it'll be there in the beginning at some moments. And I think there will be the one or two comic relief moments within a serious moment. But
it's going to be epic. It feels
it's going to be. It's not going to be. Far From Home was a vacation movie.
Yeah.
You know, and sequels in a way, sometimes if you have a trilogy planned, should be a little bit more of a like the best part of the roller coaster ride. Yeah. But then sometimes the scariest part of the roller coaster ride are at the very end. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like they do that finale at the end of the ride. So that's just kind of the way I look at it. And I'm feeling like you that I don't think it'll be gone, but I think it'll be toned down completely.
Yeah.
And we were getting 3 suits in this so far, if that's not an inside out suit, because we've got the Iron Spider right there.
Yep.
And then that one, I mean, he's obviously fighting with it, and we don't know when it's going to happen. But even at the beginning of the movie, we see him with MJ, and he's got the suit from part 2, the black. So,
the regular suit, yeah.
And then if this actually is a black suit, then we got that one. So we've definitely got 2, possibly 3 suits in this movie, and
It's not symbiote, is it? It's not going to be a symbiote suit. No,
no, not at all. No, they're not doing that yet. They're not even approaching that. I don't know if they can.
Yeah, because
I don't know. I think Sony, they own the rights to it so much that, I mean, if they made a deal, they could use it if it's a part of the story, but I don't think they can just whenever they want.
Yeah.
It's like when they couldn't use mutants for so long. They couldn't use that term.
Yeah.
Now they can because they own it. They own Fox, but for the longest time, they couldn't use the term mutants.
They're having big problems with this, aren't they? Trying to introduce mutants into it when mutants have been around for like 200 years or something like that.
From what I understand, I think it was a I don't know if they're having problems, but it was a challenge to get to where they need to incorporate it. But I think they wouldn't. I think they're going to depend a lot on Fantastic Four and maybe a lot on this multiverse thing. Who knows?
Yeah.
But they are going to incorporate the mutants. They have to. I mean, it's too much.
Yeah, they've got a lot of characters to tell more stories with.
Big time.
Yeah.
And do you think J. Jonah Jameson is going to be in this movie much, or do you think he's just going to be kind of like about as much he was in the last one?
I hope he's in it. I hope they kind of give him the look that he had back in the day, like what you see in the comics. I'm not a fan of this bald one, but why is that? Why have they made him like that?
I think it's just their way to sort of separate it somehow. To not try to separate it somehow.
Is Sam Raimi going to be linked to any of these? Has he got any ideas for sequels? Or
I'm not sure. From what I understand, the way Marvel works and the way Kevin Feige works is that he likes to give they have monthly or quarterly staff meetings or whatever. Everybody's going to be involved, or they sync them in on Zooms, however it works. But basically, here's what we're trying to get to.
Yeah.
And here's the scope that we need you to remain inside of.
Yeah.
Within that scope, you can do whatever you want. And with a lot of them, he's encouraging tell your own trilogy, come up with a story. And sometimes these writers will get together and toss ideas and write based around something they know is going to happen. So there is a bigger picture than just their movies. Now, is Sam Raimi a part of the decision-making going forward? I don't know anything about that. I know that he does have to write around what they have planned.
Right, okay.
And I think that there was a pretty decent script already they were working with this, because they fired Scott Derrickson, the director of Doctor Strange 1.
Yeah. Well, he got fired.
Yeah, he was a horror movie director, and he had said some stuff on social media about studio meddling always sucks and it's always holding up things, and he was being a little too vocal about being unhappy there, and they ended up firing him because there was it wasn't just because of that. I think that was the icing on the cake of them battling back and forth always, and once he went public with it, they're like, we're just going to get rid of you. And so he's a horror movie director. There were scary moments in the first Doctor Strange, but they said they wanted to make Doctor Strange the scariest Marvel movie yet. So right. I think just even getting rid of it.
I did like it, the original Doctor Strange, but I think the time in between for a sequel, I think he should have had another film and then the big gap and then Endgame and all that. Do you know what I mean? I think he should have been a bit more established.
Yeah, I mean, because what is it, 6-7 years between his movies?
Yeah. I
mean, who knows? Maybe they're going to treat him a character like that. Maybe they're going to treat him more of like that godlike character and make his third one 7 years from now.
Yeah, it's just amazing how they can get all of these actors and all of these contracts and get them all to stay on for the lengths of time. It's good that they all want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I think that at some point, we're getting into the age of a lot of people to where a lot of these people now are not far from our age, and they grew up with these characters, and so they don't look at it like our parents may have, to where that's a bunch of childish bullshit. Who cares? A Spider-Man movie. Well, now it's no, these are characters that most people that are in the modern day grew up with now. So we want to see it, and they want to be a part of it. And now with the reputation that it's gained, people are clamoring to be a part of it.
Do you think that there's going to be any reference to Tony Stark, as in footage or anything like that?
I don't know about that. I don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think so, though. Now we do know that Happy's in it. And they start talking about how dangerous things are going to start happening. The more you do this, the further you go with it. Doctor Strange says that he's like, you're trying to be two people at once, and the more you try to do it, the more dangerous things are going to become for you. And it shows Happy getting people putting lasers on him right here and everything. And a lot of people are saying that Happy might die in this one. I mean, a lot of people are just being like, "Oh no, could this be it? Could that be a part of what's happening?"
Sorry, that was definitely Sandman in that trailer, surely.
All right, so yeah, that was another thing, and I've got kind of a paused shot of that. So is that Sandman or is that Doctor Strange? You know, or is it Mysterio? I'm not trying to keep pushing Mysterio in there, but I just have to believe that he wasn't just a character that was in and out.
Please be Bruce Campbell, please.
As
That would be amazing.
Bruce Campbell as who? As Mysterio?
That's the real Mysterio, yeah. Like
that Jake Gyllenhaal wasn't the real Mysterio or something.
Yeah, that just to tie it into, you know me, I love the Raimi movies, and that was his. There was assuming that was going to happen eventually, wasn't it? That he was actually Mysterio.
Well, we were hoping, like I said, he was originally supposed to be Green Goblin, but here's what we do know, that Sam Raimi's is in every one of Bruce Campbell's films somehow or another. If it's either it's narration, a voiceover, or something, but he's in every one of his movies. Just like Sam Raimi's car is in every one of his movies.
Is it?
Yeah, you know the Evil Dead car?
Yeah.
That's Uncle Ben's car.
Oh, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, but Sam Raimi puts that car, and even it might be for a split second. It might be something to where he puts it on a poster or an advertisement or something, like, but so he does it. He puts it in every one of his movies.
A bit like John Landis with See You Next Wednesday.
What is that?
John Landis, he puts that in pretty much every one of his movies. He does it even in the Michael Jackson's Thriller. See You Next Wednesday.
Oh, I didn't know that. I never knew that was one of his things.
Yeah, you see it in American Werewolf in London. All of his movies. I think Innocent Blood, you see it in that.
I love Innocent Blood. You said you rewatched that recently. You didn't like it too much.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, it didn't hold up.
Well, look, I like that movie. Robert Loggia. I mean, it's funny, but it is kind of silly.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, let's move on to this because I still got a few more things we should get to.
Yeah, the best bit.
Well, yeah, that's why I was taking a little break between it. So after Happy and all that happens, and Doctor Strange is, pushing him away and everything like that, we get a little something cool happening right here. Happy's about to die, and all of a sudden we see this. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Oh boy! Now look.
You get the laughter.
And it's first it's like this, but then it's like, like it turns into this goblin laugh. At first it sounds more like dark and deep rooted, but then it turns into like he's coming through a portal or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like he's arriving. He's arriving. Yeah, it's kind of scary in a way. Like you see that, and it reminds you of the devastation he can cause with those.
Oh, and it just and look, this is the exact same design as the ones from the Raimi trilogy. This is not anything different. This is it. I mean, they are exactly the same.
That's nostalgia right there.
Oh my God. It almost looks like it's one of the old movies. You know what I mean? But it's not. It's new footage, and it just made me so excited. Now, my thing is that here's what I'm thinking. One, I wanted that to be the last shot because I'm personally more excited about that than I was this. Now I am excited about this, but I just like the Goblin character more in general. So
do you think that he will have the helmet, Goblin, the same helmet as he did in the original one, or do you think
that is a great question, man? Because look, I found this picture today too.
That's not real, is it?
No, of course not. Somebody put it together, but I'm just bringing it up because of what we didn't like. We didn't like the helmet. I think people were a little disappointed with the Electro look a little bit. It didn't bother me, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, I didn't mind it at the time. I thought it was really good, but I'm guessing they're going to turn down the blue because it seems like the electric in this one is more yellow.
Yeah, they're not doing the blue at all. From what I understand, they're doing just the yellow. And another thing, and before I forget about it, and a lot of people are saying that this truly happens, and I'll try to bring this up again. But behind him in the trailer, there's someone. Apparently, they're saying the lizard is right behind him in the trailer. That's what a lot of people are saying. It's hard to see, but it's actually.
Yeah, where are we seeing this?
So I'm gonna try to find it real fast, and it'll be when. Hang on, let me Let me get a little further away from it.
Is it going to be Reese Evans or?
All right,
That's
so
the
let's
same
let's
code?
let's see, like right here. So they were, yeah, I couldn't. I'll try to go back with it. They were saying that you could see when he's blowing up right behind him. And again, I don't want to keep it up too long because I don't want to get in trouble. But right here, they said there was somebody behind him that it was the lizard. I didn't see it personally.
Yeah.
And I've tried and tried and tried, but everybody's swearing up and down online that that's the lizard. So I don't know. But again, if we've got the lizard, Goblin, Doc Ock, Electro, Sandman, I mean, and Mysterio, that's 6.
I think,
or Vulture, or
yeah,
who
but
knows?
after rewatching something, I really enjoyed Vulture's character, so I'd be glad to see him in the Sinister Six.
I would too. I mean, I love Michael Keaton. I mean, he's definitely back on top. I mean, I thought he did great in RoboCop. Obviously, he's Batman again, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Those new pictures looks excellent. But then look, when Doc Ock comes back up, first you see this, you just see that come out of nowhere and it actually hits the ground and claws in. I tried to find a good shot of that, but it was moving too fast. It was just super blurry, everything I screenshotted. But then you get that. Obviously, that is it's not like kind of like it. It's the exact same arms. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The exact same shape. Now, does this look like, do you think this is the same Doc Ock or a variant Doc Ock?
I believe it'll be a variant because I've got a love for this character in Spider-Man 2.
Oh, I know you do.
I don't believe he's a true villain. So this has to be a variant of him. I believe the arms are controlling him in Spider-Man 2, but in this one, he seems to know Peter is.
He does.
He knows who he is. So I don't even know how they're going to be brought into this universe. Like, he just comes out, hello, Peter. It's like, wow. But yeah, I was impressed with it.
Now, while I loved it and it got me super excited, this got me excited more. And I wish this would have been the last thing in the trailer. To me, it would have made the trailer a little more effective because it would have been awesome.
Too much.
Well, first off, what I'm saying is it would have been awesome to see this. And you're like, oh, Electro and maybe Sandman. And those are more recent villains.
Yeah.
And then you see this and that's taking it back to part 2. And it's like, oh, that's sweet. We're seeing all this stuff we're familiar with. And then if it would have been the last thing you see was this, the villain from part 1. To me, that just would have been a little more poetic.
Yeah, and it would have suspense. You would have been like wonder what they're going to do. But because we've now seen Doc Ock, and it's kind of taken the icing off the cake a little bit.
But we all knew he was in it, though. I mean, they had been advertising it for a long time. So they wanted you to kind of know. I mean, I feel like, right?
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, are they going to start just advertising like crazy? Multiverse? Are we going to start seeing, online stuff that's advertising Multiverse? Are we going to start seeing Doc Ock on posters? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
It's still a long time.
Are they going to release the toys before Christmas and we get a chance to see who's going to be in it? That's a big risk.
It is, because this movie wasn't supposed to come out at Christmas. Originally, it was supposed to be a summer film, but this is just why they're doing it because of the pandemic now.
Yeah, I'm thinking with the merchandising, though, that if they would have done it in the summer, then they could, sell the toys for Christmas. But if they released the imagery of what the villains look like before Christmas, that can kind of ruin the movie. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. That's a thing they run into all the time with movies is even the merchandising before it gets released into the stores. Like a Toy Fair website will release like their catalog they got somehow or another, and somebody grabs it and takes a shot and puts that on Instagram, and there you go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that can ruin plot lines in movies because you'll see them with something. It's like, why do they have that as a toy? Kind of like what happened with that Spider-Man suit thing we were showing. Yeah. So as we're coming to the end of this, because we've pretty much gone through the trailer now, everything that we think has kind of happened, some of the theories that have been out there. Is it Doctor Strange? Is it not Doctor Strange? Is that a prison for all the variant villains that are coming out, the Sinister Six, is that being developed? Is Spider-Man going to have a black suit? All that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We're going over it. But the biggest thing we haven't talked about is, are these guys going to be in it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I think they're going to 100% help him in some way or shape or form, because it seems to me like they owe it to him, and that everything's going wrong for this guy at the moment. Like,
yeah.
He's got all these people after him that have nothing to do with him.
You know, but as we were talking about last night, isn't that Spider-Man's creed? Isn't that what happens to his character? Everything's just not going his way, but he still keeps moving forward. That's part of what we love about Peter, that he just keeps getting shit on.
I'm hoping for at least a good half an hour, 30 minutes, 40 minutes of Tobey Maguire being in this with Andrew Garfield. But I've got a feeling it's going to be more like 20 minutes. Maybe.
Yeah, 50. I'm thinking final act. I'm thinking that, like, you remember when Captain America gets the hammer in Endgame?
Yeah.
That's going to be when we're going to see Tobey and Andrew come in. It's like going to be that moment of the fight at the end. And then it's going to be like, oh shit, here they come. And one thing, do you know who JB Smoove is?
No, who's that?
He's a black comedian. He's hilarious. He was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, which was a show about Larry David. It's on
I've probably seen it. I've probably seen who he is. I just don't know his name.
You probably would recognize him. There's somebody that tricked him in an interview pretty recent, and they were like, because you know who he is. He's the black teacher on Far From Home that's on the bus.
Oh yeah.
So he's a comedian. He's hilarious. He's actually, like, he's always been an R-rated guy, but this is the first time he's done more like kid stuff because he's getting more famous. Yeah. But he was being interviewed, and they were like, what was the greatest thing about working on, Spider-Man No Way Home? And he was talking about everybody. He was talking about working with Jamie Foxx. That was one of the things. It was one of his dreams to work with Jamie Foxx. And again, we've all known that Jamie's in this movie. And so he's all talking about that. And the reporter just slips it in. They're like, so what was better, working with Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield? Or he's like, what was more exciting to see on screen with yourself, Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield? And he was like, oh, Tobey Maguire for sure. Tobey for like he was a fan of the original Spider-Man movies. And then he just kind of ends up walking away. And it's like that reporter tricked him real fast, asking him a bunch of questions. So I think it's pretty clear they're going to be in it. It's a matter of how much and what significance they're going to have. And is it just going to be Tobey, or is Andrew going to be in it too?
I hope both of them. Ideally, you know me, I want to see him in it right from the start, but we know that's not going to happen. Yeah. I just hope they treat them with some respect and open up the world to a chance of getting maybe a Spider-Man 4 with Tobey Maguire, because I'd love to see that.
That would be pretty awesome. And that could be something that they could do. I don't know, because Spider-Man still exists as an older man in the comic books. He's not, he doesn't just stop once he hits 30. He keeps going.
I'm sure they could get Kirsten Dunst back, but I think that's just wishful thinking.
Yeah, but who knows I never would have thought we were going to get to this point right here. And Andrew Garfield, I have to think that if Electro is in it, from that one, that they'd have to pull Andrew in there somehow. Now, are we going to get a Mary Jane in this from the other universes?
Hopefully not. I think that'd be overload of too many characters.
That'd be more like a CW Multiverse episode, just be too much fan service. Yeah, for no reason.
Yeah, or the Dr. Connors from Spy, the Sam Raimi.
Well, like I said, but they're saying that the Lizard is in this movie. All the theories are pushing Lizard hardcore online in this movie. Like I said, I've spent all morning looking at theories, reading stuff, trying to check stuff out. And a lot of the theories are pushing that Lizard is in this movie.
Right.
So is it the Sam Raimi Lizard, or is it the Lizard from Amazing Spider-Man 1? So I don't know. Or is he even in it?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see and wait for the next trailer. I don't even think the next trailer is going to show that much.
Well, remember, Endgame, even up and towards the end, the only stuff that they showed in the footage of that trailer was in the first 15 minutes of the film. They didn't show any stuff that was in any of the trailers for Endgame was only out of the first 15 minutes of the film.
Right. Okay.
Which I think that was smart and it was awesome. And it got me super excited and pumped up because, you know what's going on because you saw him get to that spot, but you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
One more little theory I got to talk about before we get going. But you know, they've been talking about that Charlie Cox is
Yeah.
going to reprise his role as Daredevil. And it's been confirmed that Vincent D'Onofrio is going to reprise his role in the MCU as Wilson Fisk, the character Kingpin. So, with that being said, is there a way that he gets out of jail from a lawyer? Is Matt Murdock going to be in this movie?
That it would be good. It'd be brilliant to introduce him in this film because I want to see more Daredevil. I know you do.
Well, I think the, you know how like the fans were like when Sony said Spider-Man is leaving the MCU after Far From Home, the fans were like, no, and there was a huge uproar, and Sony changed their mind. I think they kind of done that with Charlie Cox, being like, we have to bring him in. And why would they be bringing in Wilson Fisk, Vincent D'Onofrio's character, if they wouldn't be bringing in Charlie Cox?
I don't know, but the two characters that I want to see a hell of a lot more of, and I want to see them on the big screen. You know, they deserved it from the first few seasons of Daredevil. Out of all the Netflix shows, that and The Punisher, I believe, needs to be brought back because I think it was perfect casting.
Everyone agrees with you, including me, dude. Like, nobody really cares about Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and all that. Well, Jessica Jones was decent and all that. Nobody wants Iron Fist, anything. We want Punisher and Daredevil. We want Charlie Cox and John Bernthal.
Yeah, the perfect cast. That's what
I agree. And everybody would be pleased. Nobody would question it. We would just be grateful that you brought him in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'd be interested to deal with that.
I would really like to see that if Daredevil gets him out of, or Matt Murdock gets him out of some trouble. And look, make it a 5-minute appearance where he comes and actually gets him out of jail in suit. Don't even show Daredevil. Just show Matt Murdock. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, it would be perfect. It's just like a little nod to say he's here. And down the line, he's going to come into this.
Yeah, and this is event film. I'm not guaranteeing that they'll do it, but if we're having to do like a 50-50 type percentage deal, I'm going to go 60% Daredevil's in this movie as Matt Murdock.
Really?
I'm going 60%.
Wow. I wouldn't take a gamble like that, but yeah,
just because they made a verbal announcement about Vincent D'Onofrio's character. That's the only reason, not being in this movie, but for them to come out publicly and being like, yes, Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin is in the MCU. For them to admit that and come out and say it, I just feel like that's a little bit of a fun teaser that maybe some of us have overlooked, that maybe Charlie Cox is in this movie for a brief moment. Hey, there's still a 40% chance in my head that he's not. But anyways, man, that's all I got for today, man. I just wanted to talk about that, dude. I thought that'd be fun to just get on.
Yeah.
And that's all I've been thinking about. And we know that's pretty much all the world's thinking about right now.
Yeah, it's amazed everybody.
I think you can agree. So, look, man, do you want to talk about your channel for a second and tell where people can find you?
Well, I have just ranked all my people won't agree with it, but I've just ranked all 24 of the Marvel Universe movies. So it's just the way they make me feel. So you can check that out on my channel, which is at Esmaniac on YouTube. I make loads of different things. So yeah, check it out.
Sweet, man. Awesome. And also with me, if you weren't able to comment on the show or anything like that, and you want us to talk about anything, you got some trilogies you want me and Esmaniac to talk about, I think he's going to be trying to join the show more. And we're definitely doing our Trilogies and Beyond discussion where we just talk about franchises and all that. So if you got something that you weren't into listening to the show and couldn't send in, send it to brassreelbobby@gmail.com, and Esmaniac and I will both look over it and see if we can talk about something fun.
Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And to everybody else out there,
you're welcome. Yeah.
Y'all have so much fun, and we will see y'all tomorrow, and probably with some more Spider-Man news. So until then, y'all have a great night. Peace.